and we're going to go through this together, because that's what's important, that we're here for each other and we go through this adventure together. So, that being said, as we march on this journey towards a new future in this new year, locally is where the difference and the focus needs to be. And I'm going to tell you what we can do locally to actually get ready to make sure that we can move the needle forward to make a difference. If you guys are watching us online, please make sure that you like, share, subscribe, drop some comments, drop some hearts, get the message out there that we're having some real conversations that people need to hear. We are here in your ear, 106.3 FM, Rochester Free Radio. This is The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. If you guys are following us online, definitely check out the ticker below. The ticker will tell you how you can donate. You can donate on Cash App, $MW Real, the number one. That's $MW Real, the number one. Or you can do givesendgo.com/Marcus C. Williams. We also have Venmo, and we also have PayPal, and it's at Marcus C. Williams. Check it out. It's in the ticker below. So you guys, thank you guys for tuning in and bearing with me as we get everything all together here. There's also been a couple of things that have been moved around or disappeared from the studio. I don't know where they went. They went and just into the ether. But we're moving through it together. And locally, this year is where most of the elections are going to be. So I want you to turn your eye on your local elections, whether that's school board, town council, city council, or whatever, right? Because some people have some judge races and stuff like that. And we've got a various variety of different things. Where I am, the mayor is also up. So that's very interesting too. And we'll have to see how it goes. We've got a number of issues right now, but I'd like to talk about some of the issues in New York City. I don't know if you guys saw, there was over the last couple of days, Kathy Hochul has been talking about, she's the governor of New York. I like to call her the high priestess. She's terrible, y'all. It's absolutely terrible. I don't know why she is so terrible, but she is absolutely terrible. I don't know how she got like that in life. But she's been singing her own praises about how great she is because she's lowered crime, and crime is down all across the state, all across every city in the state, and everything is phenomenal. That's how Kathy Hochul has been talking. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if you know anybody from New York, I'd encourage you to talk to them. I'd encourage you to reach out to them and ask them, say, hey, is your experience the same as what the governor is saying? Do you believe that crime is down? Do you think that neighborhoods are safer or better off with the policies that have been implemented by the government? I believe that pretty much most New Yorkers will tell you, no, they don't feel safer, especially if they live in New York City proper. Oh boy. She has been calling herself so awesome because she put National Guard troops in the subway, and now the subway's safer. Is it safer? Because my friends have been sharing videos with me of people throwing poop on each other on the subway, fighting each other, people randomly getting hit. We've had a number of people pushed onto the tracks in the last couple of months. Just last night, and the post, I couldn't even believe it. The post was posted up maybe in the afternoon, maybe about 2:00 in the afternoon. And when it got the post was posted at 2:00 in the afternoon by Kathy Hochul singing her own praises. Then right after that, or maybe even at the same time, right? We didn't see the footage till after. This guy set this lady on fire that was asleep on the train. What type of horror and carnage is that? And this is the type of stuff that happens in the subway in New York City. I mean, you usually don't see people set on fire, but punch, stab, kick, spit on, have poop or pee thrown at them, that is a regular occurrence. It shouldn't be as regular as it is, because, I mean, what's going on with our society? But largely it's because there are a lot of crazy people out there that continue to get out of jail for acts that they should be in jail for. And with this thing specifically, we had the situation where Kathy Hochul was talking about how great she was This person was set on fire. Now, let me tell you about this person that got set on fire. It was a lady. Unfortunately, God rest her soul. She was burnt to death alive, if you are not familiar. Sad face. And it's very, very serious because guess who burnt her alive? An illegal alien from Guatemala, okay, that had been arrested multiple times. Multiple times they have been arrested. Not held, arrested for theft, for battery, for assault, all types of stuff. Multiple times. And they set this poor lady on fire. Now, I don't know about you, but dying by being set on fire is, what do they call it, immolation? You know, that's not really cool. That's not really cool. I don't know that that's anybody's way that they would like to die. You know, that's very serious. That's up there on par with dying from freezing to death. Like, there are certain ways you just don't want to go, and that is definitely one of them. You know, they say as you burn to death, you actually die from the pain and the nerve damage usually before you do from smoke inhalation. But it's crazy because you're being set on fire, breathing in your own flesh. And this is a guy who had multiple offenses but was able to be out. That is a very serious, serious problem. Here in Rochester, where I live, if you you can look this up, this is crazy. They're in Irondequoit, and it's right outside of the city. Probably, maybe, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes from where I am. And this family of four, okay, mother, a father, and two little small children, right? Like prepubescent teens. I'm talking like 7 and 8 or 8 and 10, whatever the ages were. Had their throats slit and their house set on fire by an illegal alien. You can look it up. And they didn't even want to talk about the fact that it was an illegal alien. But maybe we should start having the conversation about what is going on here. Should we be vetting people that are coming into this country a little bit better? Maybe. I would say so. I think that we should be making sure that anybody that's coming to this country isn't violent or doesn't have mental health issues. We have enough serious mental health issues in our country right now. As a matter of fact, I wish I had the other phone in front of me so I can read it off to you. There was just a couple of different issues we had with people with serious mental health issues here right in Rochester where I am. And if you guys know anything about New York City, it's an everyday common occurrence. But if you look outside, most of the people outside here that are homeless have some sort of mental health issue, you know, and they need long-term care. I'd say it's a very large portion of the population. It's probably greater than 15 to 25% have serious mental issues. But we don't talk about that. But we see all of these people say, oh, mental health is important to us. Mental health is important to us. Okay, I dig it. Mental health is important to you. Well, what are you actually doing? So then they get all of this money and they put all of these millions and millions of dollars every single year into all of these nonprofits, but we don't see it get to the community. I know a number of people that have nonprofits that do the work outside, that do good work, that don't get any money from the government, that are actually out there doing the work that needs to be done. But where is all this money going to these nonprofits and corporations that are getting the money? I don't see them out there doing not a lick of spit. I have a friend, he likes to call them the barbecue people because you only see them at community facing stuff that looks like they're doing something that has absolutely nothing to do with the actual thing that they say that they're working on, which is crazy to me. That's absolutely insane. You know, it's a very serious problem, but it's also a horrible use of taxpayer funding. Like, that's tax money that's supposed to be going to the solutions that we need to actually solve the problems that we have. Wouldn't you prefer to keep your tax money in your pocket? I know I would. I'd love to keep more of my tax money in my pocket. Matter of fact, if you guys listen to me often, you know I'll talk about all the time how we need to abolish state income tax and abolish federal income tax. Let me throw another one in there for you guys today. Also abolish property tax. First off, Why are you paying on the money that you worked hard to earn when we got taxes on everything else? Sales tax, gas tax, tax, tax on eating, tax on cooling, tax on living, tax on dying. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got tax on tax on tax on tax. Okay. And the government's just taking stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks from us. I couldn't help myself. I thought that was too funny to pass up that opportunity. But as we have this conversation about fiscal responsibility, it's really something that we see in a lot of states that is going awry, especially blue states like New York State. Overspending is a horrible issue here. They're saying by 20, I think it's 2035 or it's 2036, something like that, we're going to be about 37, we're on track to be $37 billion in debt in the state deficit. They just said this year, I was just reading yesterday, they said something like we're behind like $6 or $7 billion in tax remittances because people have moved out of the state because the state's so jacked up. That is a serious problem. And then who does that tax burden fall to? Is it the people in the state? Of course, they'll just raise taxes. Is it the people in the rest of the country? Of course, they're just going to beg the federal government for more money. So this is something that affects everybody. But if we don't have fiscal responsibility from our elected leaders that are supposed to represent us, what exactly is it that they are calling representation? We used to have a saying, no taxation without representation. Well, by God, I don't feel that I'm represented by any of these people who are supposed to be my representatives. I got a state senator. My state senator is Chuck Schumer. I don't get any representation from him on any type of level that's anything good. I got Gillibrand. She don't never do nothing that I like. Okay. Then I got Joe Morelli. At least he's nice to me in person when I see him. I wish he would do more because he got some crazy stuff going on in his party here locally. And they all these socialists and communists and terrorists are inside the Democrat Party, eroding it away more and more every single day. I mean, I'm not singing the praises of the Republican Party, but we're working on coming around, okay, and getting some stuff done and making some changes. But the Democrat Party, man alive, I don't know who they represent outside of the communists and the socialists and the extreme left that like to do gender mutilation and child mutilation, child genital mutilation and stuff like that. Who is up there for that? Who is supporting that? And they're just pushing these bills locally on the state level. My state representative is Jeremy Cooney and what's his name? Damon Meeks. They're all for that gender bending nonsense. And they want to teach it in schools like it's okay to your children, to confuse your children more, which they already don't teach your kids about healthy eating, healthy living, healthy anything, honestly. Definitely not healthy relationships, because parents are thought people knew about interpersonal communication and they can actually get along better than instead of having all of these soft, cuddly pillow times and dolls in classes. It's madness. Madness. Our country is devolving very, very quick. And honestly, it's very, very sick. Hey, Spuds, I see you there. You guys drop some comments if you're watching us online. Definitely hit the share button and get the message out there so that more people can hear us as we're going through these important conversations. Okay, make sure that you hit that heart button, drop some comments, and I'll share out the comments later. Just definitely make sure that we are letting other people know that we are the people that are supposed to have these important conversations. And if we do not have them, nobody is going to talk about them. Nobody. So it's crazy. You know that my state senator gave $30,000 to Drag Time Story Hour? My state senator, Jeremy Cooney. In the meantime, we have people that are out here that are homeless, and he's given $30,000 to Drag Time Story Hour. In the meantime, we have children's programs that help them learn to read. Okay, like one of the programs here to help them learn to read is like Get Lit. Okay, wonderful organization. Wonderful organization. They help children read. Did they give them $30,000? Absolutely not. Okay, and there's a number of other different programs that they could have got to keep kids off drugs, kids out of the street, to give them after school activities. I know one that does financial literacy for kids and other stuff like that. And did they give them $30,000? No, they gave it to Drag Time Story Hour. Do you know that right now they say that the RCSD, the Rochester City School District, where I live, has a 10% proficiency rate? They say, and it's so bad, I can't remember. I'm laughing to keep from crying, you guys. I can't remember what they said the state average is, but it's way below the state average, which is like less than 48% or something like that. I think it was actually 35% is the state proficiency average or something like that. But whatever it is, it's ridiculous. Like, that's not even a D minus. Like, you're below 50%. What are you doing? The city of Rochester has a proficiency rate of 10%. What are we doing? What are we doing? Where's all this money? And you guys, I want to inform you of this if you're not here local. Our school district is the second highest per capita cost per student. We got a $1.4 billion budget. Every year we have less teachers, less schools open, less students. Where's all this money going? And every year they're missing tens of millions of dollars. Nobody can ever find the money. Where's the money gone? This is a very serious conversation that we need to have. But we got $30,000 for Drag Time Story Hour when our kids can't read, can't write, can't do math. And we're talking about a proficiency rate of people that are graduating. Lord have mercy, y'all. It's terrible and terrifying. It's terrible and terrifying, and we deserve better. And I'm talking about here on my local level, but is it really honestly much better across the nation when it comes to spending on things that we really are not looking at how the money is spent or how the money is dealt out? That's a serious problem, is fiscal responsibility by our state and federal government, not to mention our local municipality. Where's your money going? How are they spending your money? And I'd like to go back to talking about the property taxes for a minute. You bought the property. Now you got to pay the government to rent the property that you bought? What type of scam is that? Okay, that's extortion. You got to pay us to live on the property that you had to pay for. That sounds like protection money. Because if you don't pay the protection money to the state, then they're going to come take your property just like they're the mafia. Matter of fact, you probably make out better with the mafia. And talking about that, you look at how the state took over running numbers when it used to be the criminals out here running numbers, right? You know, so they took that, they said, oh no, these people are making too much money and we're not getting the cut. It might be illegal, but we'll make it legal for the government to do it. So now they got the lotto and the Mega Millions and all the scratch offs and all this other nonsense. And now legal sports betting and all of this other stuff. All run by the government, all so that the government can peel back money away out of your wallet and your budget. You know, somebody said the other day, they said, you know, when the government comes and stops people from doing stuff, it's not because they want to stop them from doing stuff. It's because they're competing with the government doing that. And they were referencing illegal things, right? Like, they're stopping you from doing from doing all of these different illegal things, but the government's actually doing it. It's because of that. You know, it's a problem. Taxes are largely a scam on the people. Because most people in most places, in most states, in most municipalities, don't feel that they're getting the worthwhile out of their money. And then if you ask them where the actual financial line-by-line breakdown is of the spending of their tax dollars, they can't really explain where the money is. They give you general concepts and vaporous things that you can't really put your hand on, that they say that is where your money went to. Where did it actually go? You know, like, these are the very serious questions. I'd like to know where all the infrastructure money went from the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Whenever they say bipartisan, understand that they about to ram you up your behind. Okay, you better go get the Vaseline. Okay, it's serious. This is what's going on right now. But they say they called it bipartisan, which it wasn't bipartisan. It was largely all the Democrats and like 2 Republicans voted on the infrastructure bill, which was horrible, which only put money in big corporations' pockets and their friends and benefactors' pockets. And we got, man, listen, let me tell you about the bridges and the dams and all of the different roads and stuff throughout our country. So the Army Corps of Engineers gives them different rankings and stuff like that. So since I'm laughing to keep from crying, since they started the massive infrastructure bill, under Biden and Harris, now we've gone from an F to a D plus. Is there really even anything between F and D plus? How is D plus even an option? Crazy. Just not taking care of stuff that's actively falling down. We had, where was it? I can't remember where it was, but it was not far from here. Just the other day, like a whole part of a bridge fell on a car. Like the beams underneath the bridge, one of the beams fell out and fell right on a car, caused like a 4-car pileup because somebody saw it getting ready to fall. They tried to flag people down and stop them from going. And people were like, later for you. I don't know what you're talking about. And it went through and the thing fell and bam, bam, bam. Like 4 people had a 4 or 5 car pileup. Right here. The bridge is just collapsing. And like, we got all this infrastructure money. Where is it? Where is it? Our infrastructure is falling to pieces. But they got $30-40 million to make the airport pretty. The airport was fine and functionally fine before. Y'all ain't doing a lick of spit. Then they spent all this money at putting in some lights. Actually, I like the lights. Don't get it twisted. Okay, I do like the lights in the parking lot that they put up to let you know where you should go to park your car in the parking lot for the airport. But it costs too much. It's out of control. Okay, I would have left them leave it alone, and that money went to other places. Okay, like the actual water or energy infrastructure in our area. Like, because for real, don't get me started. We got houses out here with still rat tail wire. If you're not familiar with that, if you guys know like what boondoggle is or what crochet looks like, think of a wire wrapped in that. That's what it is. They stopped using that in like the 1920s, 1930s. Okay, that's what most of the houses out here still have. Okay, our electric grid is for trash, bro. Don't even get me started. They want to put all these electric buses everywhere, and our local energy companies like, we don't even have enough supply. But they're out here in our state shutting down natural gas plants that produce electricity. They're out here shutting down nuclear reactors like they're retarded or something. Like, are we being serious? Where is the benefit to our country? Where is the benefit to our citizens? And where is this infrastructure money actually going? Like, it's a very serious problem. And as you guys are listening, you're listening to WRFZ 106.3 Rochester Free Radio. This is Divide with Marcus C. Williams. Please make sure that if you're following us online, hit the like button. Drop some hearts, drop some comments, even drop some smiley faces in the comments, or a hey, or a hi, or a ha. And tell us that you like what we're talking about and be part of the conversation. And please, definitely, if you can, make sure you subscribe and follow if you're not already following. And in the ticker below, you can see different ways to donate. You got Cash App, Venmo, Give, Send, Go, PayPal. Donate. Drop a couple of dollars in the kitty so that we can make some more shows, get some more airtime, and Lord bless, get some better equipment because we darn sure need it. Okay, so as we continue on, you guys, I mean, talking about an irresponsible government, I just, it's beyond me. You should have seen the number of crimes in our area in the last couple of days. Like, we just had a Family Dollar not far from me, Family Dollar / Dollar General, because that's what's going on. Robbed at gunpoint. Somebody said they only got like $13, which is more bananas to me in life. But we're seeing these type of crimes happen because they won't lock up criminals. Everybody's out of jail the same day. Somebody told me that they were working. This lady got arrested, and then because she was stealing and stuff like that, got arrested for stealing and assault, got released the same day while they were still processing all of the stuff. They arrested her again for stealing again. I'm like, are you serious? Like, this is what's going on right now? because of horrible laws that have been put in place by the Democrat Party. Like I said, I don't know who the Democrat Party is representing. Are you a Democrat? Do you think that they're representing you very well right now? Are they serving your best interest? Or are they selling you a rose-colored vision of a fluffy bunny future? Because they're selling us stuff that's not real right now, and they want you to buy into it. There was a post today earlier in the news, and it posted it online, and it was saying, "Oh, Trump." They were talking about Trump at AmFest, how he did his thing, and he was like, "Trump is rallying conservatives and encouraging them to a American economic boom and something else." Yeah, I don't remember what the other part was, but whatever. But people were all mad, angry face, and talking all types of junk about Trump in the comments and da 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 da. Imagine hating a man so much that's the president of the United States that's talking about driving an economic boom for prosperity in the nation of the United States, that you hate him so bad that you want him to fail at driving economic prosperity in your own country. I didn't like Biden and Harris. I wanted them to do good. I didn't like what's his face? What's the guy name? George Bush Jr. Not even he wasn't actually a junior, but you know what I'm talking. Okay, George H.W. Bush. Okay, or maybe he was just W. Bush, George W. Bush. H.W. was the father. You understand what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter. I didn't like him either. But I wanted him to do good. He did bad, bro. Don't get me started on the things like the Iraq War, like the massive surveillance through the Patriot Act, the National ID Card Act, which turned into all of these ridiculous star IDs and stuff like that. So those are those new IDs that you see with the little star on it. They call them real ID. So the National ID Card Act under George Bush was found to be unconstitutional, and Congress was trying to get it passed. But Congress, and again, these are Democrats too. They were trying to get it passed, and not George Bush is a Democrat, but at the time the House was Democrats. Anyway, so they were trying to get it passed, but it's unconstitutional. So it got knocked down. So then the states tried to do it, and they put it in as the real ID, because the federal government is not supposed to have a massive data collection apparatus on the people and keeping records of all the IDs in general for all of the people. It's illegal. Like, it's not supposed to do that. So that's how they pushed it through this real ID scam, where they're doing it in every state as an individual thing, but what would you say, conglomerating all of the records together, or whatever you call it, whatever you'd like to call it. Okay, there's another better word that I'm not able to think of right now. But aggregating, maybe that'll, aggregating sounds better. It's more fitting. But they're putting them all together so that the government can have constant access to it. Now, you need a real ID to get on a plane, but the illegal, and they want to take a picture of your face, but the illegal aliens don't need no ID. They don't need to take a picture and all of this other stuff. Crazy, crazy nonsense. And this started under George Bush, okay? And then we talk about Obama. I couldn't stand Obama either. Did I want him to do good? Absolutely. Me and Obama got personal beef, though, because when Obama was president, I didn't have health insurance, and they charged me like $3,000 some odd dollars on my taxes because I didn't have health insurance. Because I'm young, I'm not old, I'm healthy, I'm not sick. I do exercise, I work out, I eat as good as I can. You know what I'm saying? Like most young people, if you're a young person and you're listening to this right now, you're like, what is a healthcare? You know, why would I possibly need that? Okay. Not that you shouldn't have it, but just that I didn't want any government healthcare or whatever the case is. And they charged me $3,000 something dollars. I think it was like $3,500 or something like that. Like I had $3,500 extra to pay them. Okay. Stealing my money to pay for other people. I don't even got the services and you're making me pay for some nonsense. I don't want that. I got personal beef with Obama. Don't ever let me catch that man outside to his face, because I'm going to tell him about himself. Okay, that man owes me money, and I want my money back with Bitcoin interest. It's crazy. Crazy. Nonsense. Okay? Anyway, listen, I'm trying to tell you, and I was, again, like I said, I wasn't fond of Harris and Joe Biden, but I didn't want them to fail our country. Like, people here are really preying on Trump's downfall for the downfall of our country. Why do you possibly want to be the king of the rubble or king of the ashes? Why do you want that? You want to be right so much that you would encourage our country to failure because you don't like this guy? Why would you do that? Like, what type of an individual are you? You need to check internally in yourself. Like, I understand you don't like him or something like that, but man, to wish that none of the positive things that he's talking about come to fruition. Like, I'm not even talking about illegal immigration or deporting people or anything like that. I'm talking about, the article was about economic boom, right? And encouraging businesses and business development and stuff like that. That is what the article was about. And people out there popping flack about that. Where are we in our nation right now? What is really going on? This is a very, very serious issue, and we need to be having these conversations, because it's not just those people, right? It's more than just those couple of people that said something out of their mouth. There were like hundreds of angry faces and mad faces on there. Are you serious? You don't want the economy to be better? You don't want things to cost less? You don't want to be able to afford a home for yourself or your kids to be able to afford a home? Like, you sound crazy. Something sound wrong with you. You sound sick that you're that angry at this man that you don't want it to be successful. Praying on his downfall for the downfall of our nation so that you can gloat. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, that's a very serious issue. Like, these are very big, big problems, and nobody wants to talk about it at all. I see you commenting there, Spuds. Thanks a lot. And you guys keep dropping the comments. They help with the algorithm. Keep dropping the emojis on the algorithm, on the comments. That helps too. And definitely hit those thumbs up buttons, those follows, those hearts. And make sure that you hit the share button, because the share helps get the message out everywhere. The more you share it, the more the people can hear, and the more we can start having real conversations. So as we talk about these people wishing for calamity for all of us, I really have to ask myself, what is going on? And I'd like to address it, since we're talking about these people who I'm sure are Democrats and leftists and stuff like that. Don't think I wasn't coming at the Republicans, because I got problems with our house too. Okay. And here's my deal, right? I am a foundational Republican. I believe in foundational Republican principles and values. Boom. End of story. I stand on business. Okay. I'm a conservative. I'm a constitutionalist. I stand on business. Boom. Okay. That's who I am. That's what I'm about. I am always consistent. You can check all of my posts back till when I was in high school on the internet. Everything is consistent. When I was younger, I shouldn't even say younger, because it wasn't too many years ago, right? When I was just in high school, I was a Democrat because my whole family was Democrats. But the fact of the matter is I was raised with family, traditional, and conservative values. I was just in the wrong party. I didn't know I was in the wrong party. I got accused of being a Republican in high school. I didn't know any better. I didn't know what that was. All I knew, I was a Democrat because all of my family is a Democrat, right? But I had traditional and conservative values. So that whenever I would talk, that's what my foundation was. So I talk about that. I was raised with my grandmother, my grandfather, hardworking individuals. She worked like 2-3 jobs. You understand what I'm saying? And they were really hardworking, good people that instilled really good values in me. I got a whole list of other things I could talk about, but I don't talk a lot about myself, because it's not about me. It's about us as a nation and how we move forward as a people, because we are the remnant. We are the ones who must stand and fight and protect our nation and drive forward, so that we can be the light to show that the darkness exists, so that we can improve and encourage others to improve, so that we can have revival, renewal, and restoration in our nation, because that's what we need right now. So I had those conservative values and traditional family values and stuff like that growing up. I also grew up in the church, so I had those values, those biblical values, scriptural values. So when people would say, "Oh, well, you're a Republican," I'm like, "I don't know, I'm Democrat. My family's Democrat or whatever." And I didn't know what family's Democrat or whatever. All I knew was my mother was Democrat. I couldn't to this day tell you what my grandfather or grandmother's grandmother was. God rest their souls. Okay. My grandfather was a hardcore Marine, Korea, Vietnam, okay, and other duties and stuff like that he did. Okay, my grandmother was a nurse and took care of the elderly and all types of stuff. Great, great people. Everybody has their flaws, but they were good. Like here at least for me, right? Because I'm sure that some of their kids have issues with them. I know they do, as a matter of fact, but they were good to me. You know, um, Here's the deal, though. Coming from that, I had a set value system. So when I was registered, I registered Democrat because that's what I thought you did. Everybody else is Democrat. Then, as I grew in politics and started to pay more attention to politics and stuff like that, I was like, wait a second, something in the Democrat Party doesn't really resonate with me, or whatever the case is. They're promoting all of these things that go against scripture. That's a problem. Then Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer shut down the government for illegal aliens. And I'm like, here I am. I'm a Black American man. They never shut down the government for the Black man's burden. At the time, Puerto Rico had been hit by a giant hurricane. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Maria. And I'm like, if they wanted to actually help some Spanish people, they could have helped Puerto Rico because that's part of our country. And they shut it down for illegal aliens. So I had to do some soul searching. I did some soul searching. I went to the Libertarian Party. I went to the Green Party. I went to all these other parties to check them out and see what they're about. And that was when we had more parties in New York State. Cuomo sought to get rid of all of the other parties. But I ended up landing on the Republican Party because when I interviewed with the Libertarians, they had asked me the last question. Everything was going great till the last question. They said, do you think the people are genuinely good or genuinely bad, like at their base level? I said bad, and I'm like, they're bad, but they can learn to be better or choose to be better. I'm Christian, you're born with original sin, but the original thing with any type of animal is self-interest. And people forget that man is an animal, right? Like we are animals and creatures just like all of the other beasts. Okay. Our base interest, like a baby, will cry to get whatever they want, regardless of whatever else is going on. They don't care about whatever else is going on. They don't care you ain't got no money. They don't care that everything's on fire. They want what they want. But as we get socialized going in towards adulthood, then we start to realize, oh, well, maybe our own personal interest isn't going to share the best interest of everybody else. So maybe we need to moderate what we want versus how we can get it by going along with other people, because either it's not fashionable societally or either it's not conducive to what somebody else's goals are, right? So that's how we come up as people and individuals. And they're like, oh, well, no, people are naturally good. I'm like, y'all outside your mind. And they're like, okay, bye. And I was like, okay, bye. I still love y'all, though. I love my libertarian friends. I love y'all. Mwah. Okay? Because at the end of the day, I'm a constitutionalist. So we resonate on pretty much most things. But I had an interview with the Republicans, and I sat down with one of the guys from the local Republican city committee at the time, and we had a great conversation, like 2 hours we had a conversation. And he was like this, and I was like that, and he was like this, and I was like that, and I was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, we were like, yeah. And then we had a whole conversation with some random people that jumped in our conversation because we were having some good conversation, and they were more leftist, and they were like, you know what? You make valid points. And I was like, you know what? I know I do. So they might not have changed parties that day, but they definitely had some things to think about and think in a different direction. But if we're not out here having the conversation that we need to have, many people won't realize that there are people with different opinions that can still have valid concepts and ideas if we can just have those type of conversations openly, forthright, and be willing to listen to the other person's opinions. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with them, but what you want to do, what the goal always is to understand why they believe what they believe. That is very important. Because if we don't understand why people believe what they believe, then how are we going to convince or encourage other people to a better way that think just like them? If you meet one person that thinks one way, there are probably a lot more people that you don't know that think just like that. So we gotta got to have the important conversations. And that's what we like to encourage on this show, is to help mend the divide in the conversations that we have in society, so we can all move together to go together as one, you know? But a lot of people don't want to have those conversations. So I decided to be Republican because my values were already Republican. It wasn't, I didn't change my values or anything. I just changed my party. So now, and I've been very comfortable in my home in the Republican Party. I'm actually currently the Rochester City Republican Committee chair. Okay, so I'm very involved in politics here locally, and I encourage you guys to get involved locally. Join your local committee, or start to go to your local meetings for a school board, or town hall, or what do you have? City council, town council, fire district, or whatever the case may be. Whatever you got, start to get involved more, just a little bit, so that you can see where changes can be made. And that's what we have to do all together, so that we can start to change our nation and restore our nation. That's what we need to do. But me getting involved and standing on business and standing on my principles and stuff like that, very recently has had me questioning what's going on internally in the Republican Party. And I encourage you, if you're following us online, hit the like, hit the thumbs up, drop some comments, because the comments always help kick the algorithm to get it out to more people. Definitely share, okay? And if you want to donate, I encourage you to donate, you guys. Please donate, so that we can get more airtime, so that we can get more equipment, better equipment, and get the message out to more people. That way, we can spread the message of how we can move forward together as one nation. Because remember, it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to everyone listening to get involved and encourage others. Because if that's not what we're doing, we are not doing what's best for our nation, what's best for ourselves, or what's best for the future of the children. So definitely donate. You can donate via Cash App. That's $MW Real, the number 1. That's MW Real, the digit 1. GiveSendGo.com/Marcus C. Williams, or you can donate via PayPal or Venmo, and that's at Marcus C. Williams. You'll find it. Okay. It's also on the screen. I got some little QR codes. If you're watching us online, you might be able to see those as well. But it's in the ticker. So, as we were talking about the Republican Party and the direction we're going, I wanted to reiterate something that happened the other day, and what happened at AmFest. So we had Glenn Beck on at AmFest. Glenn Beck was talking about, be careful of these people who are now trying to switch over and talking about they're our friends and stuff, when really they're just bandwagoners trying to do what's best for them to either earn more money or try to feel like they're doing something now or whatever. Because now everybody loves Trump. Trump's so popular. The policies he's got, everything is so great. And da 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 da. I mean, I'm talking people that have been lambasting Trump for years. I'm talking people who have been dragging conservatives on the TV, on the news, on the internet, in social media. And it's a problem. And Glenn Beck was warning. He said, hey, you got to look out for these bandwagons or carpetbaggers or whatever you want to call it, fake people. That's what they are. What do you call them? Opportunists. That's what these people are. And then I saw Charlie Kirk. He's the head of TPUSA, and he's got this big event that they just did a couple days, a day or two. Well, I guess it was yesterday. It was the last day, right? AmFest. Okay, and basically it was supposedly a conservative meeting, right? Like it's a conservative, I don't know, call it rally or whatever you want. And a whole bunch of different conservative speakers. I use the term conservative with air quotes, because some of them I got questions about. But yeah, and he had this guy, I don't know if you're familiar with him. What's his name? Chick Burger or whatever his name is. Chick look like Shrek. Okay, I don't know. Something CH something. Okay. Turk or whatever his name is. The guy from the Young Turks, right? I'm not able to stand that man. Charlie, why you got that man on our stage? Okay, that's supposed to be a space for conservative people. That man is left as left can come. As left can come. That man is far progressive left. Now, you guys, I've talked about this before, but progressive actually is a Republican term. The progressives were actually very, very uber traditional people and very zealous and pious. It had nothing to do with what these so-called fake progressives are now. Okay, completely different. But this guy is very far left progressive, okay, super Democrat supporter, been dragging conservatives for decades. Him and that Anna Kerber, whatever her name is, okay, whatever her name is, okay. Now she's talking about, oh, stuff needs to change because a homeless guy rubbed his erection on her leg, I guess. That's what she said. That's a real story. Apparently, that's what happened to her. And that's what made her realize that all of the crime and the drugs and the stuff were a real actual problem because you didn't see it before that. Come on now. Terrible. We should not be accepting these people coming over that are really coming over hat in hand, that didn't want nothing to do with us, that don't like us, that don't support our values, all of a sudden trying to act like there's some sort of voice for us. It's disgusting and despicable. It's so jacked up, man. It makes you want to spit, man. It's really frustrating, you know? It really, really, really makes you want to spit. I'm going to spit right now because it's disgusting. It's ridiculous. And we deal with this every single day. More of these people are trying to shift over like, oh, we weren't treating you bad. What do you mean? If any of you guys have parents that used to beat you like dogs that were out in the middle of the street, you know that many of them be like, what? We never beat you. Okay? We never were abusive to you. We never denied you food and stuff like that, or and medical care or anything like that you needed, because we bumped you upside your head with belt buckle or beat you with the extension cord or hit you with the hanger and beat you bloody or messed up your arm or whatever the case is. And then they'd be like, that never happened. That never happened. You, your brothers and sisters, your cousins, aunts and uncles be looking like, what the heck are they talking about? That definitely happened. And that's what we're doing right now. That's like we're being gaslighted by our abusers. And Charlie let them people up on the stage. Why would you do that, Charlie? Why? Huh? Why are you giving them any type of airtime? Charlie, please get right. I love you, man. No. I love you, and because I love you like a brother, because as a fellow Christian, it is my job to hold you up to the right standards and to definitely rebuke you when you're wrong. And that's not right, brother. That is a bad move, and you should not be opening that door. And I say this out of love because I want you to get right, and that ain't it. I love you, brother, but don't do that again. It's the same way how they had, what's that harlot's name? Amber Rose. They had Amber Rose, and I don't care how you feel about what I'm saying. I'm talking straight fact. They had Amber Rose at the RNC convention. I don't even think she's registered Republican. Maybe she's registered Republican now. I don't even know that she is. She's never said she's registered Republican. She said that her story was, oh, her parents, she was against Trump, and then her parents said, no, Trump's not so bad. And then she did her own research, and then she found out that, well, maybe she wasn't being told the truth about Trump. Okay, but you're an unrepentant harlot who's famous from jumping in different people's beds. Okay, who's gotten run through more trains than Shiny Time Station. For y'all that don't know Shiny Time Station, that was the Thomas the Tank Engine thing. Okay, more trains than Penn Station. Okay, or Union Station, whatever the case is. You get what I'm going here. You're picking up what I'm putting down. Like, and they got her on the RNC convention. Like, this is what's supposed to represent us? This Young Turks piece of garbage is supposed to represent me? Like, are you serious right now? This is what you're telling other people in our movement is okay. It's absolutely not okay. Back to the RNC, I'm still mad at Hamet Dillon, okay? She's a sheik, right? And she got up there with in front of a whole bunch of Christians and a whole bunch of Jews talking about the one true God is Guru Shwamarami. Excuse me? I'm glad I wasn't there because I'd have snatched herself off the stage. I'd have been arrested that day. Lord bless. Sometimes I don't be places for certain reason, and I'm sure to God that was one of them because I wouldn't have been able to stand it. I'd have raised all types of holy problems, okay? That'd have been a serious issue. Like, you getting in on the stage in front of a party that's traditionally Christian, and you got some Jews there, and it's like 3 sheiks in the whole room, and that might be under exaggerating. Like it might have been a couple more there. But again, what is the population of sheiks in the United States of America? Not enough that they make up hardly any level of a percentage, especially inside the percentage of our party. Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you even say that, right? Like, who is that for? Like, we didn't gain any benefit. Sheiks are traditionally very conservative, family-oriented, and all about pride and stuff like that. And I dig that. I mess with them. I ain't never really had a bad issue with none of them. Okay? Because they deal on respect, and I deal on respect. And I appreciate that. And they stand on business, and I stand on business. So I appreciate them. But these are the type of conversations that we need to be having. If stuff like this is going to be done, where are we going? What's really going on? What's really being done? So if you guys are watching us online, please make sure that you hit like and share, drop some comments below so that it pushes the algorithm to help get it out to more people. Hit the share button so that it gets out to more people. So as we're having these important conversations, and I use this as a springboard to talk about some other stuff that I saw that I don't like in the direction of where the Republican Party and conservatives are going. So I have a friend that's very conservative, right? Very conservative, very family oriented. We don't agree on everything, okay? But they mean business, and I support them because they stand. You understand what I'm saying? So most of the things, almost everything we agree on, which just some small things we disagree. But they made a point in a post, was it today? They said, oh, well, they were like, oh, well, I'm not a populist, talking about themselves. I'm against populism because all populism inevitably does is turn into totalitarianism, blah, 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 blah. And I pointed out, I said, I don't think that that's necessarily a true fact. However, there might be some credibility there, right? But not really. But the fact of the matter is, I don't like what I've seen the last couple of days out of the so-called Republicans and so-called conservatives, especially online. Because with the CR that passed, or didn't get passed at first, where there were 38 Republicans that voted no on it, and like we're talking about real strong conservative people. We're talking about real strong Trump supporters like Nancy Mace and Wesley Hunt, and there's other ones, but I'm just pulling them out because, Wesley Hunt's been on the TV all the last couple of years saying Trump this, Trump that, Trump's awesome, Trump's fantastic, Trump, 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 right? When nobody loved Trump more than Wesley Hunt, maybe Tim Scott. There's a joke in there for Tim Scott fans or whatever the case is. I love Tim Scott, but it's besides the point. Okay, it's besides the point. So definitely somebody that supports Trump, but these online people like Laura Loomer and these other so-called what do you call them, influencers, Nick Soraras or Soritas or whatever his face is, trash garbage man. Okay, sometimes he posts stuff that I agree with and stuff like that, but all of these people I got beef with right now because I don't like the direction they're trying to take my part or take my people as a whole of America. They're like, if you don't support this, you don't support Trump. Excuse me? Excuse me? How are you going to say that? And how are you going to try to say that on the internet to get other people to believe that and then put that out there as this false narrative going? That's not even true. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a very, very serious problem. And they're pushing that. And then what was really problematic to me is that I saw that basically they had copied and pasted the same thing over and over again. Everybody that said that had exactly the same thing pasted. It's like that thing when you saw on the news talking about misinformation. You can look up the video online where it's got like 50, 60 news stations and they're all saying the same thing about misinformation and nonsense like that. Or just, they got another video with them talking about those shots, you know what I'm talking about? So, and they're all saying the same thing. This was that. But this was that for conservatives or Republicans, which I'm questioning them. Laura's always been a little bit out there, but these other people, I don't really know them like that. So all of them, as far as I'm concerned, trash. okay? Because y'all very dangerous in pushing that stuff. Division inside our party. When right now what we need is unity. We just had a great victory and we need to unite together for conservative principles, for traditional principles, for the restoration of our foundational principles in this nation so we can have revival, restoration, and renewal. Like, what are you doing? Talking about, oh, it's everything that Trump wants or not, nothing. What do you sound stupid? You think Trump wrote that CR? You think he even read it? You think he knew what was in it? Absolutely not. And it still had a ton of bloat. And then the other one got passed anyway, and that was still trash. After the last 2 years where Republicans were like, we're not signing any more CRs, we're not raising the debt ceiling, we're not doing that. Then some people actually stand on business and you trying to drag them? Y'all need to be pushed out of everything. Are you serious right now? Listen, okay? It's messed up. I told you, I got it for everybody today. Now I've got some for the FBA and Fat Joe and ADOS and these other crazy people and these Pan-Africans and the whole rest of everybody else. I wasn't done yet, okay? So if you guys are following us and like this conversation, please hit like, share, follow, hit the subscribe button, share this out, get out to more people, drop some comments because that helps with the algorithms, and feel empowered in yourself to definitely donate. There's different ways to donate on the screen, or if you look at the ticker, you can see how to donate online right there. Okay, so as we have this conversation, I don't know if you guys saw, you guys might not be familiar depending on where you're from or who you are, type of individual you are. Fat Joe got on this radio show with a whole bunch of these Caribbean cosplaying black people. Okay, so now you'll say, well, let me back up a second. Okay, so Caribbeans aren't black. Blacks are only Black Americans. That's a whole longer episode. I've talked about it before. I'm not going to dig deep into it right now. Just know that there are only Black Americans. Everybody else isn't black. And they'll tell you very specifically they're not black. Jamaicans love to tell you they're not black. Caribbeans will tell you they're not black. Cubans will tell you they're not black. Look blacker than me, okay? Puerto Ricans look blacker than me. It'll tell you they're not black, okay? Haitians be like, we're not black, okay? Africans will be like, we're not black. And they'll be like, well, where they come from, right? They'll be like, that's what I am. But the only people that are actually black is Black American, because that's an American term for the American Negro, for the American natives. Okay, that's where that term comes from. And I'm not going to dig down into that because it's not what I want to talk about. And I got some other stuff and I got some time. I want to make sure that I have talk about some other stuff. But that's just some background. So nowadays, we got all these people that are either Caribbean or African that are out here trying to act like they're Black American and they're not, or they're supposed to represent us and they're not. They just elected some Jamaican lady to the to be the head of the Black Caucus in Congress. Are you playing in my face? Don't spit in my eye. You know what I'm saying? They're taking a piss and telling me that it's raining. That's not okay. She's not black. She don't represent us. And I've dated enough Jamaicans, bro, and I've had that engagement with enough of them, okay, where they be like they ain't black. And a lot of them don't like blacks. So that's another thing. But they'll be quick to tell you that they're not black, and they will legitimately fight you if you call them black, many of them. It's a serious thing. It's a very, very serious thing. So when I say these people are cosplaying as Black Americans, they're black when it's convenient. We're black every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 366 in a leap year, okay? And twice on Sunday. Okay? Don't get it twisted like it's something different than it ain't. So I say that as this background when I talk about this thing. So Fat Joe, this is a white Puerto Rican, okay? I love me some Puerto Ricans too. Any of y'all know me. I've had a number of Puerto Rican females. I do love me some Hispanic women. You guys are, I love y'all, okay? Especially Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. Woo, something about that. But right now I'm single, and I'm saying that way. I'm looking to date to marry, okay? Because I'm gonna let the Lord send me a woman, because I pick the wrong ones. I really do. I got a certain taste, And no, I can't do that. I got to get the right one because I want kids and I got to have good kids. You know what I'm saying? To further my line and my lineage, which is a separate conversation that we need to have about the birth rates in America and in the rest of the world and society population collapse. But as we go on talking about the Fat Joe situation, Fat Joe was on this radio show with a lot of Caribbeans in the room. Again, remember, they don't like black people, okay? And even those that do, they don't identify as being black on scale, right? So he's out there talking about, oh, well, I guess the foundational Black Americans gave him a hard time because because he's been saying that, oh, Puerto Ricans founded hip hop and all of this nonsense and that nonsense, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into that conversation. We know what the real is, okay? And the Puerto Ricans did not found hip hop. Did they have some parts in early hip hop? Yes, some of them did, but no, they did not start hip hop. We're not going to get into that. And honestly, I don't care. I don't care. That's a very small thing in the scope of things for me. But what he said was a big issue because he started talking down against foundational Black Americans. Now, foundational Black Americans or American descendants of slaves, as they're also called, some of them, and American freedmen, which is another class, all very similar. Okay, essentially the same. All of those are Americans, are Black Americans who have been here before slavery or were here during, and their family is descended from slaves. So that's where that comes from. So now we got this white Puerto Rican up there calling us the N-word, okay, and talking down about us. Now we're not going to sit here and have the conversation of whether Puerto Ricans can say the N-word or not, or whatever the case is. But we're going to talk about the fact of that they have the whole concept of how do you say it? Mejoro la raza, right? Like improve the race. Like, and people say, oh well, that's more of a Mexican or a Caribbean thing, or where do you think Puerto Rico is? In the middle of the Caribbean. Don't play in my face like you stupid. Okay? Don't do that. And that's why you get all these Puerto Ricans out here when they check the ethnicity thing, they be checking white. Come on now. Like a lot of them don't like the dark-skinned ones. There's a lot of colorism in the Hispanic world, and that whole thing, okay, and if I'm saying it wrong, correct me in the pronunciation, but it's Mejora R. Mejoro, Mejaror, however you spell it. La raza, right? Like improve the race, okay? Or how do you say the other one? Blanque, minito, right? Something like that, right? Like basically they want to lighten the people, right? Because they think that white is right, essentially. So that's a thing. That's a thing. That's why a lot of Hispanics don't like when Hispanics when their kids bring over Black men or Black girls. They don't want that. They don't want darker children because that's something that's been ingrained in them. Okay, there's a big thing there with colorism. And that's a whole longer conversation. Ask a Cuban. Okay, that's a real big problem there. But it is everywhere. So he's out there talking down Black Americans and then calling us the N-word. Like it's okay. And then we got these Pan-African nitwits, excuse my language, and if y'all felt some type of way and you feel offended, I said what I said. Okay, we're not from Africa. We're from America. Okay? Well, everybody originated in Africa. I ain't got time for everybody originated in Africa, early man, Lucy, or whatever the case is. Because if you actually knew anything, you know that the oldest known footprints and the oldest known fossils of humans is from the Americas and actually even North America. And you can look that up. You'll have to do some digging, but you can find that. Okay. So Lucy ain't the oldest. Okay. And Lucy wasn't even really, anyway, it's a whole much larger conversation. But the fact of the matter is that we're from here. Okay. These other people aren't from here and they don't identify as us. And they're out there saying derogatory stuff to us. And here's my issue with Pan-Africans, okay? Go to Africa. You want to be African so bad, go there. They changed their names to these Muslim names when North Africa used to be Christian anyway, which is a whole nother separate conversation. Like Islam doesn't evolve, it didn't come from the African continent. Are y'all retarded? Excuse my language. Okay, you know, I mean, what's wrong with you? Your brain don't work good. Are y'all taking on these Muslim monikers and stuff like that to try to sound like you're more African or whatever the case is, and then talk about, well, I believe in the red, green, and black flag and all of this nonsense and all of that nonsense. That flag don't represent me, and it don't even represent Africa, right? Like it's a whole continent and everybody got their own flag. I ain't never seen an African from Africa put them stupid African flags in their bio. You know what I'm saying? But I did see a video the other day with this African guy. I don't know what country he was in, but he was doing a video in Africa. He's like, it's crazy to me how all of these Africans move out of Africa, and then all of a sudden they put the flag of their nation in their bio, like they're repping their nation. He said, if you really cared about your nation so much, you would come back here and struggle with us to improve our country. And I said, man, I support that guy. I like that guy a lot, because that's the same way I feel about America. Okay, I'm here. Yeah, maybe everything ain't perfect, but I'm here to make it better. If y'all so Pan-African, you care about Africa so much, bye. You look better gone. We got stuff we got to take care of here. Okay, y'all so enthralled with their culture and all of this and all of that. Okay, shoot, don't get me started. Shoot, I'm half an otaku. I love Japanese culture and all of that stuff. Okay, that don't make me Japanese. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy what's going on. It's crazy. And we can't have legitimate conversations about this because people don't want to have legitimate conversations about this. But the fact of the matter is that he got up there and he legitimately was derogatory to a group of Black Americans. And these other people who are claiming Black are okay with it, as if he's not really dragging them too. And this I take back to what I was saying about the conservatives, right? Like Charlie Kirk having this guy from the Young Turks on there. Bro, they've been dragging us. Now all of a sudden, because he's saying, oh, well, I think I like this specific part or whatever the case is. Oh, well, so now he's okay? He ain't cool now. What's going on? It's crazy. It's crazy. They just giving a pass to Fat Joe for that. They just giving a pass to that dude from the Young Turks for that bullet drive he been on for decades, bro. Decades he been dragging us. You know, like later for that guy. If you guys like the conversation we're having, hit like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you share it out, get it out to more people. Okay, drop some comments, even if you agree, disagree, I don't care. Drop some comments down there, and we can have some comments in the chats later. Hit those heart buttons, hit those likes, hit the follows, make them those thumbs up and those hearts come up on the screen and all of that. Because all of that helps the algorithm to get the conversation out to more people so that we can have really serious conversations like the one that we're having today. You know, because these Pan-African people, back to the Pan-African, because they just want to be so bad from Africa, and they'll say, oh, well, we're from Africa. Who told you that? Do you know that that comes from Marcus Garvey? That comes from some white people, okay, saying that we're from Africa. We're not from Africa. And I heard some Pan-Africans talk about the inter-American slave trade. Don't even get me started on the intra-American slave trade. I'm glad somebody brought it up. But I'd like to use that specific thing to point out that wasn't nobody coming from Africa. That don't even make any type of sense. If everybody was coming from Africa, they wouldn't have never had to deal with a trail of tears here in America. Because there wouldn't have been that many Native Americans, Indians, American Indians, whatever you want to call it. What everybody's grandmother told them that they were, that is a Black American. And they got this concept where, some of these people are pretendians. No, they're not. Y'all just got brainwashed by these white people that you been saying are so bad. Again, it's the government, the people, the institutions, the elites, and everything. Everything that the conservatives rail against is the same thing that I'm talking about in this avenue, because it's a rewriting of history so that it suits a specific purpose. And then they got the nerve to say, oh, well, the government is racist. The government is bad. Don't trust the government. Don't believe the government. The government hates black people, blah, 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 blah. You don't think the government would lie to you about that? Okay. And if any of you white people are confused on what I'm talking about, but you know about the mud flood, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Mud flood. Okay. But this is the type of conversation. Or if you know about the giant bones, okay, in America, if you know about the mounds in America, if you know about that, then you know exactly what I'm talking about with them rewriting history and changing history. Okay, you know that the biggest settlement in the North and South America has been found in the Mississippi River. What do you call it? Plains, plateau. There's another word for it. You know what I'm talking about. You can look it up. I mean, it's hard to find information on this because most of it's been hidden and lied about. Because they're trying to rewrite our history slowly, slowly, slowly. And as more people die off, they act like it didn't happen. And we see it happening right now with this reconceptualization of what socialism and communism is. Like we just didn't see the Nazis like a couple of years ago. But most people that were alive during that time are dead now. So they're like, oh, we can bring it back, talking about socialism and communism and stuff like that. Like we didn't just have the USSR just collapse in '94, right? Like people are still alive from back then, but Russia's our enemy. So let's not listen to those people about communism. Like I don't got friends from Vietnam that'll tell you about the communism in Vietnam. Vietnam is getting a little bit better, but still the communism in Vietnam or Laos or Thailand or all of this. And Thailand is I don't know if there's still a what do you call it? Empire? Not an empire. Yeah, a kingdom, whatever. Kingdom of Thailand. I think there's still a kingdom. But I don't know. That's a conversation for a whole nother time. But these other countries, Korea, like we can't talk about that. Cuba, like ask a Cuban, they still alive. Fidel Castro just died like 5 years ago. He ain't even been dead that long. Like, what are we talking about here? Like socialism and communism are on a comeback, rewriting history because everybody's dead or trying to get them there. So they start maneuvering the generations afterward to think differently. It's like even Abraham Lincoln, and you can go look this up. Abraham Lincoln would talk about, he referenced in his speeches, the giants in America, actual physical giants, right? But we know that we have had archaeological, you can look up the old newspaper, archaeological digs where they found giant bones and skeletons and stuff like that. And then the Smithsonian sweeps in and takes them all away. But every other single country, everywhere else, knows that giants were real, but in the U.S., we can't even talk about that, where they try to tell you don't know what you're talking about. But in Mexico, they got giant bones on display. Mexico right there. Well, not right there because Canada is close to us here, but right there. You understand what I'm saying? Right there in the open in Mexico. And it's not like it's a hidden thing. Like this ain't hidden history. They started to try to hide it here because they're trying to recraft the narrative. It's the same thing with this whole, let's see how much time I got. It's the same thing with this whole the slavery nonsense. Oh, the slaves were brought over here from Africa. Really? With all of the Native Americans here, with all of the logs from Christopher Columbus. What's the guy's name? The name that starts with the B. Balboa. Is it Balboa? Is Balboa the one I'm thinking of? Him. Okay. And a number of the other ones, Cortez and a number of the rest of them that came here, even the original settlers of the 13 colonies, especially on the East Coast and the Southern East Coast, describing the people that were here already as looking like Africans and being melanated like Africans. And you can even look at the sketches and the etchings that they made of them, that they are dark people and have dark features and look, as they said in their writings, as if they are from Africa. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's the population that lived here, but they've been doing a systematic whitening of American Indians continuously. That's why these people that call themselves American Indians right now look so white. They don't look Indian. They don't look red skin. They don't look dark skin. They look like they done came out of the middle of Eastern Europe. Come on now. Come on. And everybody's concept, what they did is they warped everybody's concept. We got a couple minutes here. I'm going to try to tighten this up. They warped everybody's concept by talking about the Southwestern American Indians because they were lighter, right? But you got the black feet. Okay, they wasn't called black feet because there was white feet on now. You got a number of these other tribes, but they like to try to pick the tribes that were more favorable to the white looking people, and they try to use that as what the whole thing is for all of them. But when you look at these people in the pictures, everybody look dark as heck. Okay, look darker than me. Okay, so these are real serious conversations that we need to have, but they're being erased as our history goes on. So long story short, okay, most people that were in slavery in the United States of America didn't come from Africa, and I'll tell you real simply why. Because it wasn't cost effective. Because it's simpler and easier to enslave the people that are here that you don't like so much that you put them on a Trail of Tears. If you don't know what the Trail of Tears is, go look it up. I ain't got time to explain it today. Okay? And that was after slavery had been abolished. Make it make sense? Come on, really start to think about it. Okay? So, with that being said, we're from here. We're not from Africa. That Pan-Africanism came from Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was a Jamaican who was funded by a whole bunch of white people to push us out of this nation, to separate us from this nation, which was the whole thing with Liberia and a whole bunch of other stuff, which is a conversation for another story. But I do want to close on this note that we need to get rid of this separatism that is being pushed on Black Americans, as well as that's being pushed in the conservative and Republican movement, because it is doing a disservice to both of us. The real conservatives and the real Republicans need to stand up and push back against anybody that's trying to sow division in our movement to restore our nation, to revive our nation, and for national renewal. Okay, we need to push back against any of that. And all of these Black people that are against Black Americans, that's a problem. All of these black-faced people that are against Black Americans, that is a problem. They don't like us, they don't mess with us, but they're trying to carry us and ride on our coattails like the alphabet people did. Okay, it ain't right, it's wrong, and we should not be standing for either of those things. And I appreciate you guys for listening and tuning in. Please hit like, hit share this out everywhere. Drop some comments whether you agree or disagree. Check us out next Monday, 2:30 to 4 p.m. Also, check out my show, The Elephant in the Room. That's Sundays at 7 p.m. You can catch us online on my YouTube channel, the Marcus C. Williams channel. I've got other videos that are coming up almost daily or every other day where I talk about other topics. Definitely link up on that, and I'll catch you guys later. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. You guys be blessed and be well. Merry Christmas, and may you seek out Jesus, who has come to lead us to our Father in heaven above. Read the Bible. If you don't got a Bible, go get a Bible. Y'all be blessed and be well. I'll catch you later. All right, you guys, I'll catch you later. Make sure you share the video out. Please donate. You guys be blessed and be well, and stay strong.